Um, Hi. First Facecam video pog, even though the story is not very pog. I don't know how to start. I never know how to start, stories. This fucking mask. As much as I like how cool this mask looks, I made the straps too small. I need to probably fix that, but oh well. I already recorded. Yeah, now I'm gonna have to edit this and let's just not think about that part. This story is probably one of the worst ones that I have. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but the thing is that ADHD is a bitch. I've actually already recorded this like a few weeks ago, but I didn't have the effort to edit it, and then I completely forgot about it. I don't know where those recordings are, so they're lost in time now. I don't, one thing I'd like to say real quick, in case those type of people find this video, this person that I'm talking about has no online presence from what I understand, so please don't go around being like, you're the person that did this. I know that there's people like this, so please, this person is not online. I just felt like I need to say that. Calm down. Go on. So this story starts, I believe, around 2017. I don't know. Could have been earlier, could have been later. I don't know the exact timeline of the things that are happening, I don't know the exact like years and all that this went on, but I know it's around 2017 when this started. So this was when I was around 7, about to turn 8. My great grandmother moved to Louisiana. I will not be saying which exact city it was, but it was in Louisiana. She moved there, and immediately she had me over for the summer. Me and my uncle, who at the time I think was 16, 17. He was born 2001, so I don't know what that makes him. And then kind of right off the bat, the two of us started making friends with people. And I made 3 friends, and well, one of them is friends. It was more my uncle's friend at the time, and one of the person this is about is the uncle's friend that I considered a friend, which is named Noah. I will be saying his actual name because I'm comfortable with that, and that is his, like, that's a very common name, so I don't feel like there is a name I'm gonna have to change here. Because I've never heard anyone else's name, but I feel if it's a common name that I've heard at least twice, then I can say their name. That's like the rule of thumb that I have. So, at first, he didn't really care about me. If anything, he hated. Not really hated, but like disliked me. I mean, like, he's like 5-7 years older than me. I think he was 13 at this point. I don't remember. Again, I'm gonna go with a 13, but I'm not 100% sure. So when I first met him, he was kind of cold towards me. He was more interested in my uncle. He was like, oh, can your uncle come out? Oh, can your uncle like do this and that? But I would sometimes tag along. My great grandmother didn't like me hanging out with him much. I didn't really like him that much. I mean, I kind of did, kind of didn't. I was a little kid and I liked everyone. And eventually my uncle quit going to my great grandmother's house, which my great grandmother is like a narcissist. I didn't know that at the time, but I knew that she was she was frustrating. And so I was the only one that was going there. And so me and Noah started hanging out a bit more than we did before. And again, he still didn't really like me much. I mainly hung out over at his house because his mom, which is the person I'm gonna change her name, I'm gonna change it to Lauren because it's similar to her name, but it's not the same. She was like really nice. She was really nice. She did kind of do a few effed up things, and I am really disappointed in what she did, and I've made a post about it. But to me, she was really, like, acting towards me, she's really nice. She actually made me, hold up. She made me this, like a pillow, out of my dad's shirt whenever he passed. And so, she's nice, she just didn't help when she needed to help. But all of this started whenever he started showing signs of trying to groom me in 2018, I believe. Again, timeline's not exactly correct. It started, I don't remember exactly how it started, but I remember it started very mild compared to what he tried to do later on. I remember I was over at their house because, again, I went over to their house every now and then. They were like the only people's houses I was really allowed to go to because my great-grandmother's really overprotective. And I remember we would go into his room and he would like have a tab, like he had a computer, like the laptop computer, not like a PC computer. You know, he did have that as well, but this is about his laptop. And so he would pull up a tab that was on soccer, and then add another tab, and then would show me videos that were like not exactly like sex or porn videos, but they were like videos of people naked and stuff like that. I don't remember there being any sexual intercourse parts in the videos, but again, it was a long time ago. It was about 8 years ago, I think. Depending on the timeline, I think it was around like 6, 7, 8 years ago. So, kind of fuzzy memory. And then it got worse as he was starting to touch me inappropriately. And it started to show me stuff that was inappropriate and asked me to do it back to him. Now, I was a child. It didn't know what he was doing. He disguised it as us being a couple. He was like, hey, we're dating. Like, oh, you're dating, we're girlfriend and boyfriend. And I remember I ended up telling his mom, hey, we're girlfriend and boyfriend, because I thought, I didn't know. All she said was, no, you're not. She didn't think anything wrong with her, like, 14, 13, I don't know, old son, saying stuff like this to a child, but I don't know. And remember, we would go behind those like air conditioning boxes that were outside, not like the ACs that like stick out, but it's like the little fan thingies inside the little crates. I don't really know how to explain it that much. I remember one specific day I tried to run away from him, and I wasn't even able to get past the houses whenever he like bear grabbed me and like picked me up and brought me back over there. And I remember I was scared. it's not fun when that happens. And then another time, I tried to run away and he did it again, but that time I was able to kick him in the knee and run away to go grab my scooter that was in the sidewalk, and I went back inside because I didn't want to risk him catching up to me. But it started getting worse as time went on. He started also wanting to see me more often. I remember one time he invited me to go to his karate practices and then basically begged his mom to let me go. And then whenever we got back, he wanted absolutely nothing to do with me. He was like, go home, which I did. I was confused, but I did. And other things he would do is he would like tell me to, like, he told me to go into the bathroom, and then after like about 5 minutes he would go in there with me and then show me stuff and make me show him stuff like that as well. And then after a while of this happening, he eventually one day came up to me and said, hey, can we have sex? And at the time, he most likely knew. I was like 9, 8, I don't exactly remember. I was around that age. I didn't know what any of that was, and I'm pretty sure that he knew that. And I'm so glad that I kept saying no to him. He kept asking. He was like, come on, let's do it, it'll be fun. And I just kept saying no because I knew at that point that he was doing stuff to me that shouldn't be done. And the whole reason that I didn't get help was because I was like, oh, this is like, it may not feel right, but this is normal, right? And then I was like, I can stop this on my own. I don't need help. And so after a while of him saying, can we have sex, I told him, how about next summer, because this was like during the summer. And he was like, no, that's too long. And so I decided to trick him by saying next spring break, because I went there for spring break as well. And then the next spring break came along, and he told me it again. He said, all right, it's spring break, can we do it now? And I said no. I said next summer. And then at this point, I believe I was like 10. That's around the time that his mom made that. And during that spring break, whenever we had first gotten there, he was getting his room painted. And so me and my great-grandmother went over there, and we were looking at his newly painted room. And I thought that he was done with what he was doing to me, but no. He kept grabbing my ass. He kept like hitting it. He kept inappropriately touching me. I remember it being right in front of the parents as well, like his mom and my great-grandmother. They never did anything. They never told him to stop it. They didn't even acknowledge it. And then I feel like it wouldn't have stopped had it not been for me one day talking about it with my cousin, and my aunt was listening in, and she was like, what are you two talking about? And I was like, oh, it's a secret. Like, it's a secret. I was talking about it. It's like, it's a funny thing type of thing. And she was like, no, I like secrets. Tell me the secret. And I think that she knew, or she was listening in on what was going on, which I'm glad that she was. because she sat me down with my grandmother and I told them what I thought I could. I didn't tell them anything. I didn't tell them that I agreed to some things. Like, he would be like, oh, pull down your pants and all that, and I did it, but I told them that I didn't because I thought that I was going to get in trouble for it. And I realized that wasn't the case, but it's over with now. They told my mom, and then my mom told my great-grandmother. He never faced any consequences, and in fact, he went on to do it to another person around the same age that I was when he did it to me. And then it was basically just swept under the rug. It was acted as if it didn't happen, or it was some sort of mistake. And I remember when in my post, I said that I was 13, but I think I was actually like 11 at the time. Why is my face itchy? My nose is itchy, stop it. Whenever I was doing gymnastics while I was there for the summer, and I saw him walking across the street, and I recalled my great-grandmother saying, if Noah comes over, you can go inside and I'll keep him outside. And so I went, or she was like, you come inside if he comes over. And so I went there, and I went over to her. She was out there on the porch, and I was in the yard, and I told her, hey, Noah's coming over, I'm gonna go inside. And she looks at me and says, like dead serious, she says, I'm out here, so you don't need to go inside. And the whole time he was out there, he was practicing with me, and I could feel him staring at me weirdly. I was wearing like shorts and stuff because earlier my grandmother tried to make me do it all in a skirt. That it had shorts under it, but it wasn't. It was like an inch or two of shorts, maybe, like give or take. So I was uncomfortable, and so I got to go change. But I'm glad that I did, because I was so uncomfortable when I was there. And all that. And then he also stole my great-grandmother's car twice. Not once, twice, because when she had her broken leg. And to that, she tells everyone about that. She told everyone every little detail. But as soon as I would say, oh, he did something to me as well, she'd be like, oh no, we don't need to say that. You're gonna paint Lauren in a bad way. You're gonna paint her to be a bad mom. Which, honestly, she's nice. She was nice, but at the same time, she's not the best person. Because she knew what was going on, and I know that she knew what was going on, and she didn't say anything. She saw the signs, she didn't do anything. She didn't even punish her son whenever it was found out of what he did. And it led on to him going to do it to another person. And I think he was over 18 when he did that as well. I'm not 100% sure. He could have been like 17 or so. And another time, I remember I was 13 and at the pool, and he was there. He was like 20 at this point. So I know he was like 20, 21. So I think he was like 18 then. But we were at the pool, and I saw him, and I was with some other people, so I just tried to stay away from him. He didn't talk to me, he didn't say anything to me, and I was so glad that he didn't. I don't even know if he was looking at me or not, which he wasn't facing me. He was just laying like on the lounge chairs, blasting his music. But he did have sunglasses on though, so I don't know. But I'm glad that I ended up talking to my cousin about it, because if I hadn't been, then it probably would have gone on longer than it did. My great-grandmother since moved back to Texas. He, from what I know, still lives at home. I don't know, he may have moved. Last time I saw him the last time I've been at her house which was in the same neighborhood that he was in, was 2 years ago. 2, 3, no, that was 2 years ago. So I thankfully don't have to deal with him anymore, and I'm glad. This this situation just makes me realize that I'm not as strong as I often think that I am, because I thought that I was strong enough to be able to stop what was going on my own, and I ended up getting help, and when I really should have gotten help before it got as escalated as him almost raping me. That's my story. I might have forgotten a few things. I don't have anything written down, which, because of like ADHD is like, poof, you forget this now until you need it again. That's also why I had to re-record this, is because I forgot a few things that were crucial and important. But it's all in the past now. I'm kind of numb to it. I only just recently realized that he was also grooming me, because he was hiding it behind a mask of, oh, we're being girlfriend and boyfriend, we're doing normal stuff, we're doing this. Let's not think too much on the fact that I'm hiding this from everyone. No, let's not. And so, if you're ever in a situation like that, just try to get help from anyone so that it doesn't get as far as it did with my story. I don't know how to end this either. This recording's already 22 minutes long. I'm so sorry. Bye. I hope you guys like the IRL, like Facecam. If you don't, I'll see. I don't know any other method of talking about things. I'm more comfortable with Facecam. But thank you. Have a nice day or night or evening, afternoon, whatever time it is. Bye.